Darkness falls across the land. Creatures crawl in search of blood.
Nobody knocks off an old man in my neighborhood.
Hello there, welcome to my review of Eerie, Indiana, episode 18, Reality Takes a Holiday. The episode begins with Marshall being reluctant to go see a horror movie with Simon and his family. They find this odd, but respect his wishes.
We're a little concerned that maybe you're losing sight of what's real, what's important.
Dad, I know what's real and what's not. Sometimes I think I'm the only one around here who really does.
As they leave, he notices mail has been delivered, and it's a script for a TV episode called Reality Takes a Holiday, for a show called Eerie, Indiana. Marshall begins to read and notices it's the dialogue of the conversation he just had with his family. When he goes back inside, Simon and his family are back where they began, and when Marshall repeats his father's lines back to him, Mr. Teller breaks, and it's revealed Marshall is now on a film set, being directed by Mr. Joe Dante himself.
Cut. Don't print that one. Everybody back to the top for take 13.
All right, folks, back to the top.
This will be the lucky one, right, pal?
Dante refers to Marshall as Omri, and when he freaks out, Dante thinks he's being a diva and breaks for lunch. His whole family are actors, and so is Simon. The only one acting like himself is Dash X. Marshall goes outside to find himself on the back lot of a studio, then makes his way to the set of the Worldo stuff, where Radford is also acting like Radford, not John Astin.
Well, if it isn't Marshall Teller, come on in. You're my first customer of the day.
What did you call me?
I think I called you Marshall Teller, didn't I?
But he pulls out a script to help Marshall figure out what's going on, which is even weirder, as he's Radford following a script without knowing he's an actor. But the pages are blank. Marshall heads to the writer's office, and Dash is there, helping the writer with some ideas.
I'm not an actor.
Wow. Takes a big man to admit that.
He wants Marshall killed off. Marshall plays along as much as he can, but he's too weirded out by the actors playing his family. He heads home, but it's just a set. Meanwhile, Dash and Simon / Justin Shenkarau are on his tail.
Omri! Come out, wherever you are. Come on, you can run, but you can't hide.
Marshall and Dash get into a fight, with Dash wanting to become the star of the show. Marshall has an idea to distract the writer and sneak into his office, rewriting the script to send himself home. He gives the pages to the writer's secretary and has to wait while they're being copied. They arrive on set just in time, and Dash is suitably horrified as the scene begins, returning Marshall to Eerie, where he decides to go to the movie with his family, much to Dash's annoyance.
Win some, lose some.
Not the first example of metafiction by a long way, but it plays well with the tools it has, and the self-referential nature of it is clearly something Joe Dante likes, having played with that formula so well in Gremlins 2. What works is that it not only smashes the fourth wall, but that it keeps Dash and Radford as themselves, but for two different reasons. Dash is the antagonist, and Radford is a sort of guide that transcends Eerie and our reality, although is completely clueless about it. It firmly establishes Radford as the most interestingly banal character of the series, both completely aware of Eerie's weirdness and yet blissfully ignorant that this is weird. It's never made clear in-universe why X wants to become the star of the show, or how he knows it is a show, although it seems like a commentary on how the character potentially appeared to be introduced to replace Marshall, yet never was intended to be that, because he's wholly unsuitable to be the lead. The fun of the episode comes from the way the family is portrayed in our reality, each being a stereotype of actors, and it might have been interesting to see Dash pretend to be Jason Marsden for a bit before it's revealed he's actually the real Dash. But, as always with this series, time is a precious commodity. There's some fun in jokes and references to the Wizard of Oz, the actors' previous roles, and another Invasion of the Body Snatchers reference that are such a part of Eerie's brand. The resolution is neat and seemingly sets up Marshall and Dash in a kind of Bugs and Daffy relationship, riffing on the Looney Tunes episode Duck Amuck. It's just a shame this occurs just as the series was coming to an end, as it would have been nice to see that play out further. It's a great self-contained story that demonstrates how good the concept of the show is to allow this kind of flexibility. It can have sci-fi, horror, high concept, or in this case metafiction, and it all works within the context of the show. This is easily another 5 out of 5 for me. Thank you. Goodbye.